Hello there. It's another week and another time for Power Wheel, a public enlightenment program and package of events from the power sector produced by the Transmission Company of Nigeria, TCN. I am Omelogo Nadi. Let's take you straight up to our Power News segment, where our major reports for this episode of the program are encapsulated.
The Transmission Company of Nigeria, TCN, has launched a 20-year master plan that envisages the wheeling of at least 28,000 megawatts of electricity by 2035. The Interim Managing Director and Chief Executive Officer of TCN, Mr. Usman Gur Mohammed, said TCN engaged Fichner of Germany in November 2015 under the Nigerian Electricity and Gas Improvement Program, NEGIP, financed by the World Bank to produce a master plan. The final copy was delivered last year after a thorough review by the TCN team and Fichner consultants.
The 20-year Transmission Master Plan was conceived since after the delivery of the National Load Demand Study by Krakeben in 2009. When we did that load study and delivered it, it became necessary that we need to do a discourse transmission and discourse generation plan.
Mr. Mohammed said the master plan forms the basis of the TCN Transmission Rehabilitation and Expansion Plan, TREP, which has advanced with support from international financiers like the World Bank.
It is important to note that this master plan established the basis of the TCN Transmission Rehabilitation and Expansion Plan, under which several donors, some of them are mentioned here, were supporting TCN. And that plan, we have actually advanced some of them. For example, the one that is supported by the World Bank, we have actually done the negotiation. I think it will go to the board very soon. The one by AFD, the Abuja transmission scheme, the procurement has gone very far.
Presenting a master plan document to the Honorable Minister of Power, Works and Housing, Mr. Babatunde Fashola, SAN, the IMD said the TREP is being executed with the building of in-house capacity for TCN, especially with the installation of transmission transformers.
From the beginning of March and May last year to date, we have installed about 12 transformers all over the country using the in-house capacity. Honorable Minister, it is my pleasure, therefore, to formally present the final report of the 20-year Transmission Master Plan to you for consideration and for the benefit of the nation. Thank you very much, Honorable Minister.
The minister in his address said the federal government through TCN was planning for the future of the power sector so that there would be no excuse of inability to evacuate stranded power generation in the future.
This is a 20-year plan, but I won't be here for 20 years. That I know. This is because in future we should no longer have stories of stranded power.
Fashola said before 2015, when President Muhammadu Buhari took over, transmission capacity was about 5,000 megawatts, but has improved to 7,125 megawatts as of December 2017, attributing the achievements to clear commitments from the present administration.
Work that stopped has restarted. Some have been completed.
He assured that his team will work towards implementing the plan while in office, as he urged stakeholders to play their specific roles as outlined in the plan.
I think I will conclude by just imploring all of the operators, DISCOs, GENCOs, and members of TCN to familiarize themselves with this plan, to take ownership of the sectors that belong to them. And I think that's the most important thing. There is a section of this plan that belongs to all of you. The whole plan belongs to the Minister of State and myself. We will take ownership. And we will be there for as long as we are here. We will be here for 20 years. But for as long as we are here, we'll be here to ensure that everybody takes ownership and plays his own role to deliver on this promise.
In their presentations, officials of the consultant firm Fechner of Germany explained that the master plan targets a 10,000 megawatt wheeling capacity by year 2020, rising to 15,000 megawatts by year 2025 and 20,000 megawatts by 2035. As part of the incremental stride of the federal government, about 240 megawatts of electricity will be added to the national grid from the Afan 3 Fast Power PLC in Rivers State in April to boost power supply to Nigerians. The Honorable Minister of Power, Works and Housing, Mr. Babatunde Fashola, SAN, disclosed this recently at a hearing of the Joint House of Representatives Committee on Power and Procurement at the National Assembly, Abuja.
It was an investment package from General Electric. We are hopeful as work progresses that before the end of the first quarter, latest into April, we should switch on that power plant and add 240 megawatts to the grid.
The minister who addressed the lawmakers along with top officials from the Ministry of Power, Works and Housing said the project followed due process and foreign investment of 85% of the project cost was attracted from General Electric Corporation. Fashola said the project was approved by the Federal Executive Council, FEC, and followed through procurement processes at the Bureau of Public Procurement, BPP, and was implemented to the construction stage.
What we have done is to get a framework of agreement with General Electric, which was approved, and essentially the framework was that General Electric will invest 85% in turbines, Nigerian government will invest 15% and provide security. Now, the intention was to quickly deploy electricity wherever we could get it. Today, the turbines are in place. They have been installed. The switchyard that will evacuate it is under construction. It went through BPP. It went through FEC. It was provisioned for in the Appropriation Act, and it was implemented accordingly.
The minister who presented the approval documents for the project from BPP, including a no objection certificate, said the project followed due process.
The financial analysis shows that for 1 year, with a combined capacity of 240 megawatt, the energy exported to the grid will be 1.8 billion kilowatt hours of energy. It will consume 21.9 billion standard cubic feet of gas. And the projected revenue will be 49.87471890.53 billion naira. After payment for gas, the income that will come to that power plant will be 26.3 billion.
Confirming the no objection certificate, the Director General of BPP, Engineer Babatunde Kuye, said the agency issued a no objection certificate for a component of the project.
There's no contradiction here. The Honorable Minister is right. We issued this certificate of no objection. Thank you.
Honorable Wole Oke, who heads the Procurement Committee of the House of Representatives, said the essence of the meeting was to ensure adherence to the Public Procurement Act and value for money spent on the project.
We all appreciate what you are trying to achieve, but we are mindful of the processes.
The federal government has engaged civil society organizations on the implementation of the Power Sector Recovery Program, PSRP, to advance its efforts in providing incremental, stable, and sustainable electricity supply in Nigeria. The PSRP was initiated in 2017 and consists of a wide range of policy actions, operational and financial interventions that are being coordinated by the Ministry of Power, Works and Housing and the Office of the Vice President for the Nigerian Electricity Supply Industry, NESI. Mr. Hakim Bello, the Special Advisor Communications to the Honorable Minister of Power, Works and Housing, spoke about the program's objective.
The aim of this engagement is to explain and promote the objectives of the PSRP to facilitate knowledge building, feedback and participation, reform design to implementation by all key stakeholders, particularly the public. This workshop, therefore, aims to encourage robust dialogue around the objectives and activities of the recovery program.
The Honorable Minister of Power, Works and Housing, Mr. Babatunde Fashola, SAN, reiterated the federal government's commitment to making the power sector and other sectors work. He said that commitment is captured in the Economic Recovery and Growth Plan, ERGP.
Our commitment really is undoubted, right from that of our leader and the captain of our team, the president himself, and the vice president. I think that that commitment is encapsulated in the Economic Recovery and Growth Plan, because one of the 5 areas of imminent and immediate activity is the provision of power.
He noted that the workshop was to sensitize civil societies and other stakeholders on what is being done to improve electricity supply in the country.
One of the vehicles by which you can understand what we are doing and monitor and measure how well we are doing, and also understand the challenges that we are facing, is what brings us here. A power sector recovery program. We believe that we know what the problems are. We're very clear in our minds that we know what the problems are. I think all of us have signed up. Yes, we have signed on that this will work.
He expressed concerns over the non-availability of power even when about 2,000 megawatts of electricity is available for distribution. The minister noted that emphasis should be on how the stranded power can be efficiently distributed in line with objectives of the PSRP, which is currently the main focus of the federal government.
We know that the industries are not getting enough power. But the correct statement is not because there is no power. Because the reality is that we have 7,000 and we are selling 5. So the conversation we should be having is how to connect to the two. So if you have a headache and I have Panadol, it can't be that there is no medicine. The medicine is there. Where are you? How do you get to me? That must be the conversation we should be having. And so those are the conversations that we should have.
Fashola said the present administration has unveiled several plans that will make the power sector work. Such plans, he said, include the recent launch of Transmission Master Plan, the Distribution Expansion Framework, and the PSRP.
2 weeks ago, I announced to Nigerians that the Federal Executive Council had also approved for us a Distribution Expansion Program Framework to address the unutilized 2,000 megawatts of power. So when you see some people saying that there is no plan in Nigeria, tell them they are wrong because you are here. I told those who saw the transmission plan yesterday that when you hear any group of people discussing that there is no infrastructure plan for power in Nigeria, tell them that they are wrong. They don't know what they are saying, and tell them that you are here. Again, if you read the Economic Recovery Growth Plan and if you read the Power Sector Recovery Program, when they tell you there is no plan to solve these problems, tell them it is a lie, that they don't know what they are saying.
Responding to questions at the workshop, the minister urged members of the public to be positive and join hands in making the power sector work.
Ghana is, as a whole country now, about 3,000 megawatts is their installed capacity, and they are not fully producing all of that. Lagos alone is getting 1,200. One state, half of a country. So I think we just need to understand some of the dynamics of the... And then when people say, oh, Germany is exporting power, your country is exporting power too. To Niger, to Republic of Benin, to Togo. And they are selling gas to the West African sub-region. Stop putting yourselves down. You're a great country. We have challenges, let us go and deal with them together.
You're still watching Power Wheel, where we talk progress in the power sector. It's been a delight having you here with us on the program. Here is one of our interview sessions. Please take a listen.
In line with the federal government's incremental power initiative for the power sector, the Niger Delta Power Holding Company, NDPHC, has started foundation works for a brand new 2x150 MVA 330/132 kV transmission substation in Lafia, the Nasarawa state capital. On completion, the 300 MVA substation will work in tandem with Transmission Company of Nigeria's ongoing 2x60 MVA 132/33 kV transmission substation, which is sited close to the new NDPHC substation. We spoke with the Executive Director, Engineering and Technical Services of the NDPHC, Engineer Ifeoluwa Oyedele, and the Head Transmission Service Provider of TCN, Engineer Victor Adewumi.
We started this one late last year, and we intend that it will be commissioned by September this year. Most of the equipments have either been manufactured or are in the process of being manufactured. In fact, we already started taking delivery of some of the equipment meant for this project now. So we hope on or before September 2018 to commission this project.
The weightlifting has been an issue in the power sector. How did you sort out the weighlift issues here?
This project is perhaps a testimony. On the day that we came here to take over to look at the site, the governor Alhaji Tanko Al-Makura presented to us a certificate of occupancy for this land, and to our surprise, all of the compensation for the land had been paid by the government to the community. So it's the first time we have a project this size, and we are not encumbered by the community issues at all, and this is highly commendable. Not only do we have the land, the compensation had been paid to the project affected people, and the government has also started to construct the road for us. So it's a first, and it's something that is that other states should emulate.
We are installing a 60 MVA transformer, 132 33 kV voltage level at Karo. So Karo is in Nasarawa state. So by the time we finish that transformer installation, it will completely enhance the voltage level, and a lot of other customers in that axis we benefit from that project. Equally at Kefi, you recall that last month the Honorable Minister of Power, Works and Housing commissioned another 60 MVA in Karo. So that increased the capacity of Karo substation, Kefi substation, and quite the whole communities within that Kefi area we call it benefit from that commissioning. And we are talking of the project that is ongoing here in Lafia. And don't forget that I even mentioned that at Akwanga, we are putting a capacitor bank there temporarily to increase the voltage level, to improve the voltage level of Akwanga substation. So of course it will be temporary, because by the time we finish this substation, the voltage level will be improved and there won't be any need for capacitor bank in Akwanga again. So we are doing a lot, at least to fulfill the Honorable Ministers of Power, Works and Housing mandate by incremental power, to every nooks and cranny of Nigeria.
You're watching Power Wheel, a production of the transmission company of Nigeria, TCN. Let's go on a short break. Please stay.
Vandalizing power infrastructure negatively impacts government's efforts towards improving the nation's power sector. Say no to vandalism. It destroys our common national assets funded by taxpayers' monies. Vandalism of oil pipeline disrupts gas supply to thermal power plants. Hacking down electricity transmission towers owned by the Transmission Company of Nigeria disrupts the transmission of generated power to distribution load centers, threatening the nation's grid and national economic growth. In 2017, some acts of vandalism on transmission infrastructures recorded include that of towers 53 and 54 along the Itu-Adiabo 132 kV transmission line in Inuakpa, Utukpani local government area in Cross River State, which fell due to the activities of vandals. In Enugu State, the 132 kV double circuit line emanating from New Haven Work Center in Enugu was vandalized, bringing down 2 towers and affecting another 2 transmission towers along the line routes. This incident would invariably delay the substation construction at Abo 9th Mile, which is near completion. This is because when this substation is complete, we may not be able to power it because of the vandalism incident. Within this period, there were also 7 cases of vandalism, with 5 on Tegina, Yelwa, and Shiruru Tegina transmission lines in Niger State, 1 on Gombe Ashaka line in Gombe State, and 1 on Katankpe Apo line in Abuja, FCT. Vandalism leaves TCN with the enormous task of re-erecting and restraining damaged lines and towers which cost millions of naira earmarked for grid expansion projects. Say no to vandalism. Say no to the willful destruction of our collective national assets. Report any suspected act of vandalism to the nearest security operative. TCN, willing power for national economic growth.
That what we have been able in the last 1 year is that we have established investment plan with the financing support from multilateral donors to put N-1 redundancy all over the country. We have also been able to look at how do we raise investment, because transmission to stabilize the grid, you need about 3 or 4 things. One, you need to have investment in critical infrastructure. There are certain lines that we need to reinforce, and we need to build new lines to stabilize the grid. Then we also need to have a functional SCADA. Then we need to have the spinning reserve. The next thing, we have to have the frequency control, which I told you have been achieved. We have to review what are the problems with TCN in terms of implementation of project. One of the things that we had to do is that we need to come up with a structure that will adequately address the risk associated with all parties that are involved in the implementation of project. We have a plan of making TCN to play its role in the power sector the way it's supposed to be. And that is why anybody will agree now that we are not the weakest link in the power sector. But we are not there. We need to put in all the necessary redundancy, because with a generation capacity of 7,000 megawatt, transmission is supposed to be 14,000. If you look at the power, the power pyramid, it's supposed to be 14,000. Distribution is supposed to be 28,000. So if we are 7,000, and generation is 7,000, you know we are not there, because we don't have all the required redundancy.
It's time for a look at tidbits. The Power Flash has that aspect. know that switching off unused electrical appliances at homes and offices can save electricity for use elsewhere? This is our focus in the next Vox Pop.
At home, when I'm going out for work, I do off my gadgets at home. That's how I save the electricity, because I use prepaid card.
Make sure you off your bulb in the daytime when you know that you are not using it. So you just have to off it so that it will not maybe spoil the bulb or to take more current, especially if you are using the meter, so it will reduce money for you.
Well, I make sure that any appliance that I'm not using at the moment, I turn it off, and then when I'm leaving the house totally, we switch off the meter in order to save electricity.
Thank you for your company on the program. Please keep your views and comments coming. And as always, you can reach us through these various platforms on your screen. It's been a pleasure bringing you this program. As always, I am Omelogo Nadi. See you next time.